The NBA scriptwriters must be admiring their work right about now. Having SGA and Jokic play a Game 7 in the second round of the NBA playoffs while in the middle of the closest MVP race in recent history. But truthfully, having watched all 7 games and paying close attention all season long, I find myself asking, is it really that close? Because yes, when I look at it through the emotionally driven BS narrative that NBA media consistently spouts, it shows that one player should be the NBA MVP this year in a closely contested race. Yet, when I look at it through a more analytical lens, it shows the other player is clearly superior. Wait, how does that even make sense? It doesn't. And it's because the NBA MVP conversation is broken. And by the end of this video, not only will you know why, but you will also have a solution that makes this emotional debate a lot more logical. The first filter the media uses consistently in MVP voting and has always blown my mind is voter fatigue. Like, honestly, what the hell is this even? I've always found it patently hilarious that grown-ass men and women who claim to be analytical, non-biased sports people will gladly and gleefully allow something like this to play out. Like, are you serious? So, you're punishing players for being too good? Unfortunately, this is nothing new with the moronic NBA media. For my younger audience, if you wonder why Michael Jordan, the person everyone calls the GOAT, still only has 6 regular season MVPs instead of 9 or 10? Well, this is the exact reason. The voters got bored of voting in the same player over and over again. Bro, how is this real? And even more ridiculous is, since Michael Jordan, it's gotten even more emotional and subjective.
A conversation of, is this the best basketball player to ever touch a basketball? And I think we can all agree on that and say it's not.
Yikes, DeMarcus Cousins. And if we bring it to 2025, this is going to be a big reason why the MVP will go to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander instead of Nikola Jokic. But can't the media see that this is actually a massive negative for both players? SGA and Jokic are 2 of the best players in the league. SGA doesn't need a pity vote or voter fatigue to win an MVP. The media is literally saying, well, I'm sick of seeing the same guy win. How the bleep is it Jokic's fault if he's better than everyone? Here's what's even better about it. If SGA wins this year and next, he'll fall prey to the same moronic filter that should never ever be allowed to be played into in the first place. Look, man, everybody has their favorite players. That's all well and good. But should that mean a stunning lack of objectivity that follows that? No, it shouldn't. And in short, voter fatigue is a pathetic filter that needs to be disregarded and dismissed immediately. And so should this next filter, although it's a little more gray area, but it is a highly frustrating one. And it's the whole best player on the best team argument. This one is hilarious, and here's why. If you watch the media, it's like you and I, the adults, having a conversation with an 8-year-old who's had too much sugar, and then seeing them go round and round in circles till they exhaust themselves and knock themselves out. Lol. On the one hand, they say basketball is a team game and that you can't win on your own because there's 5 players as team. But then on the same breath, they say, well, the best player on the best team has to be the MVP because they're the leader. But then how can basketball be a team game and also say the guy on the best team is the MVP? Is that not contradictory? It honestly is, again, very flawed. And that will be the prime reason SGA wins MVP this year. And yes, if you're using that filter, then for sure, his team was the best and he is the best player on that team. But if you think about it in a different way, if SGA has had much more help around him, plus the benefit of health, doesn't that actually take away from him being MVP? And the truth is, this exact thing has been used for and against players getting MVP since the whole damn thing has been created. LeBron James is a great example of this. He was the best player in the league for 10 years straight, but was penalized for having teammates that were too good or having too much help. And why? Because yet again, Voter fatigue started this party, then this convenient narrative ended it. And it's much the same for Jokic, unfortunately. Is the best player on the best team the MVP, or is he not the MVP for the self-same reason of having great teammates? You see how flawed that is, right? Because how can it be both? It's just an easy narrative that anyone can pick apart or praise to push an agenda. And that's why this conversation is broken. Because the media focuses on things that are emotionally based. So, with that in mind, there is actually one filter and one measurable statistic that makes all of this make sense, and it's very simple. If you were to take X player off X team, how good would that team be? And that is easily measured in a stat called value over replacement player, or VORP. And oh look, if we look at regular season VORP, guess who are top two? Jokic and SGA, with Jokic at 9.8 and SGA at 8.9. See, we don't need emotional narratives to know who the best basketball players are. This stat shows it. And if for fun we go to the playoffs, even though yes, it's a regular season award, it's these two men again, with Jokic being slightly ahead. So the truth of the matter is, both these guys are elite basketball players and are incredibly useful to their teams. If you took either one off, their teams would suffer greatly. But the question is, which team would suffer more? If you take into account the quality of teammates and coaching, the fact that Jokic was even able to do what he did this season with all the turmoil in the Nuggets organization is nothing short of spectacular. Also, as we said, we know it's not a playoffs award, but the fact that the Nuggets even took this to 7 games is a testament to Nikola Jokic's enduring greatness. Look at the difference in upper management, coaching, and teammates. It's staggering. If you took Jokic off the Denver Nuggets, they'd be a perennial lottery team. Whereas OKC has the greatest GM in the game and have shown they can field competitive teams no matter what. Plus, if we add the filter of health, which impacted the Nuggets all season long and into the playoffs, it actually makes the debate not that close. Though he's a great player, I believe these are the reasons that will influence SGA winning MVP. Because giving Jokic a 4th MVP is too much to stomach for a lot of people. This is why the NBA MVP conversation is currently broken and needs to move to a more objective, analytical lens when talking about the best players in the league. We have to stop punishing players for enduring excellence and reward it instead.